Hello everyone, this is Tip Top Gaming here today with another MTG news breakdown video. Now, right now I'm talking about the November 18th, 2019 banned and restricted announcement, and normally I start in the article, but I thought, who's poking his face out right here? Well, that of course is Oko. So, why don't we hop into the announcement? Announcement date, November 18th, 2019. Now, not only was Oko banned, which everyone was like, ban Oko, ban Oko, ban Oko, but also, so I'll show you the cards. Oko, Once Upon a Time, and Veil of Summers. Now, all three of these cards were printed in the last two sets, so that's kind of Wizards being like, we've been making mistakes, and they actually did a whole article concerning the mistakes and lessons that they've learned, and so I might be releasing that tomorrow, which is normally an off day for the channel. I might just release me breaking down that article tomorrow, because there's going to be at least 3 videos today, because there's also a Pioneer banned and restricted announcement coming out later today. But Oko, Once Upon a Time, and Veil of Summers are all being banned, and if you notice, they're actually all green cards, and most of the time they go in the same deck, so they really want to make sure this deck isn't as oppressive as it is now. Now, I'm going to break down their reasonings, but I'm going to list my kind of ideas for reasoning. So, Oko, Thief of Crowns is banned. That is lovely. He's been super oppressive as a 3-drop planeswalker that can potentially, start with 6 loyalty or 5 and start, basically he's removal on a planeswalker and with positive numbers, and it's crazy. So, he generates too much value, so he's out. Once Upon a Time also allows insane value in things like green-blue. Now, this is actually kind of unusual. Normally, they either ban the head of the problem, which is better, or they try to ban the support of the problem, which I could have seen them banning just Once Upon a Time and Veil of Summer. But the fact that they banned all 3 really means they see the issue in this. And actually, recently, they've been more aggressive with bans, which I think is really, really good. Once Upon a Time was just for value, and Veil of Summer oppressed things in the meta. Now, I'm also going to talk about the other formats. Brawl, Oko was banned. Now, this happened a little while ago on MTG Arena, but to align it with MTG Arena, they are banning it in paper. Then Renin 6 is banned from Legacy, which is really sad, because I own 1 or 2 of them. And so that's going to tank its value. And Narset Part of Veils is restricted in Vintage. Now, this will take place November 22nd for paper, November 18th for MTG Arena, and November 18th for Magic Online. So that means it's happening today, not the 21st, which this is kind of surprising. MTG Arena's update is literally in 3 days, so I thought they would wait till then. Now, if they've already released the patch notes, it's too late, but if they haven't, I recommend everyone go on MTG Arena as soon as you see this video, now, and get 4 copies of each of these cards, because you will get your wild cards back. And we're actually gonna, they released a separate, kind of article for MTG Arena, and we're gonna go over that. The next banned and restricted announcement is actually December 16th. Now, based on their last cycle, they were doing one every 2 months, but then this poll came out on Twitter, and people were like, let's have banned and restricted announcements more often. And I think that this whole Oko crisis kind of helped with that. So it'll actually be December 16th, not January 16th or whatever. All right, now I'm going to read what they have to say about Standard. Over the past several weeks, the Standard metagame has been in an unhealthy state. I'm glad they admit it. So we're taking significant steps to try and rectify it. There are 2 major issues. The 2 major issues are the dominance of Simic-based food decks featuring Oko, Thief of Crown, and the general overrepresentation of green in the competitive metagame. Food decks featuring Oko, Thief of Crown have been most popular and most winning for the majority of the Throne of Eldraine Standard season. This culminated at almost 70% of decks at Mythic Championship Richmond, including the card. Based on the data from high-ranked Arena Traditional best-of-3 gameplay, only one of the other 10 most played decks had a favorable matchup against Simic based food decks, and only above 50%, just barely. Food decks maintained an average of about 53% non-mirror match win rate, even with the metagame focused on beating them. So they're basically saying Oko, he's the super powerful card, and the meta can't adjust to beat it. Oko, Thief of Crown has reduced metagame diversity and diversity of gameplay in Standard by shutting off build-around creatures and artifacts. Ultimately, Oko's power level has proven higher than is healthy for the current metagame, and higher than intended for future environments, including Theros Beyond Death and forward. Now, again, tomorrow, I guess I could do it later today, there will be a video talking about what they said they're changing about Magic in the future. It's actually a little more serious, so I might actually do it today. To address green's general dominance, we're also choosing to remove Once Upon a Time and Veil of Summer from the environment. Alongside Oko Thief of Crowns, Once Upon a Time is one of the key reasons green has been overrepresented in the environment. It contributes to a high consistency of strong starts and provides a level of early mana fixing that other colors don't have access to. This advantage is especially important in the context of small 5-set standard card pools with less flexible mana bases. Arena data indicates that without also removing Once Upon a Time, green decks would continue to be too powerful and consistent going forward, and I completely agree. Now, this kind of happened with when they removed Field of the Dead. Sure, Golos deck was dead, but then obviously Oko came to power, and I think that's going to happen here, but maybe with red, because if you look at MTG Goldfish, which generally gives you a good idea of what's in the meta, like half the decks were just variants of Oko, and so I think red is probably going to show to the top again, and so it seems like every ban announcement, they're just getting rid of a deck. Now, I'm glad they did ban the green, because I think the green-blue deck might have been able, like, if you threw in, like, white, might have been able to survive without Oko using things like Teferi and Nissa and all that. So it's probably really good that they banned that. I'm also glad they didn't ban Nissa. Nissa's a really fun card. Now, I'm kind of sad because this is obviously my meta deck, so I don't really have a meta deck anymore. And yesterday, I actually got a bunch of Once Upon a Times for two reasons. First off, I just needed it for my Cascade deck, which you can check out gameplay of that was posted today. And I was like, well, if they ban it, well, I get my wild cards back, and if they don't, my Oko deck is more powerful now. So that's good because they didn't give us really time to get the wild cards. Now, I assume they're saying that, like, 12 wild cards is way too much, but we'll get more into MTG Arena here in a second. Alongside Oko Thief of Crown, Once Upon a Time is one of the key reasons green has been overrepresented. It contributes, blah, 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 yeah. Finally, Veil of Summer is also playing an important role in preventing the metagame from being able to self-correct. Cards that are played in similar roles in the past, like Autumn's Veil and Display of Dominance, proved a lower power level than their respective standard environments, leaving green with a weaker option compared to the other color hate cards in those cycles. Veil of Summer is at the other end of the spectrum. It's too much more efficient than the other cards in its cycle, and by comparison to its other tools available in Standard, gives green decks too much resilience against removal and disruption. I mean, that is kind of true. Black and blue are like the most control-y colors, so Veil of Summer is basically like, control? No. We believe that these changes are necessary and sufficient to open up the Standard metagame to a much higher degree of diversity, and resulting environment going forward will more closely match design intent. For more information about what these bannings mean on MTG Arena, click here. So, now, majority of my audience probably cares about Standard because that's what I talk about most, so I'm actually going to jump over to Arena and then we'll jump back. So, the bans basically have applied here to both traditional best of 1 and best of 3 in Standard Constructed. That includes play, standard rank, traditional standard play, traditional standard rank, standard event, traditional standard event. This does not include direct challenges except for tournament mode, and as a general reminder, Brawl maintains a separate ban list from standard formats. But just remember, Oko Thief of Crown is actually banned in Brawl as well. Alright, we will be deploying a data-only patch to implement the changes outlined below. While no downtime is expected, these changes may not be in effect until maintenance is complete. Please refer to our status page for more information. So no, you do not have a chance to go and get the cards, unlike the last banning, which they gave you a chance for. Players who have Oko Thief of Crown, Once Upon a Time, and or Veil of Summer as part of their in-game collection prior to this game update will receive an equal number of wild cards of the appropriate rarity to their collection as part of the update. So I will end up with 4 rares, 4 mythics, and 4 uncommons. Pretty nice, actually. Players will receive an in-game notification when this takes place and the types of wild cards they received. Players can still redeem wild cards for these 3 cards for all non-standard formats. There will be a confirmation message reminded that these are not available in Standard. We will be adjusting Thornvale Drain packs to change the win rate in which Oko Thief of Crown, change the rate in which Oko Thief of Crown and Once Upon a Time appear boosters. After the patch, players will only be able to receive Oko Thief of Crown if they've collected a playset of every other mythic rare card, and Once Upon a Time if they collected every other rare card. Veil of Summer will still appear in Core Set 2020 booster packs at its normal distribution, because it's an uncommon. These changes will not impact the collation of cards in limited boosters using Thornvale Drain or Core Set 2020 sealed and draft events. Cards will still appear there, which is kind of sad, because the card is much less useful, especially it being banned in 2 out of 3 formats in Arena. Oko Thief of Crown Once Upon a Time will be removed from ICRs. Players may still receive Veil of Summer because it's uncommon. Players will receive Vault Progress for every Veil of Summer they receive beyond a playset. And, okay, this is a big one that a lot of people don't realize. If you're already in an event before this update comes out and you have Oko in your deck, or Once Upon a Time, or Veil of Summer, you can continue for the rest of that event, but then your deck will become illegal after you, if you try to enter the event again. And in Standard Cascade, they will remain playable. which that was one thing I was curious about. So that's why I thought they were going to wait till the 21st to reenact it, because they have a standard like event going on, and it's like a very limited time one, so it would kind of suck to do this, but it's fine. All right, let's move on to Brawl. For similar reasons outlined in the standard discussion, and to bring tabletop and arena Brawl into alignment, Oko Thief of Crown is also banned in tabletop Brawl. Now, they're not supposed to ban things outside of Cycle, but I think arena kind of has this like gray area, because you know, you're not actually like, you can invest money into it, but your cards don't have a value. So it's a lot more reasonable to just ban things out of Cycle. It is still upsetting, I mean, for some people, but I think that Arena is kind of banking on Brawl right now, even though it's not a full-time format, so the fact that it was being so oppressive was really bad for Brawl, so they're just like, well, we can't wait. Brawl will die, so we need to ban things quicker. Alright, Legacy. Since their adoption of Ren and 6, Teamer Delver variants have become dominant in Legacy. In Magic Online League, play over the recent week, Teamer Delve has maintained a 56.5% win rate and earned over 3 times as many 5-0 finish as the next deck. Wow. Most importantly, it has favorable matchup against each of the other 10 most played decks. While a strong card in general, Ren and 6 is especially powerful in Legacy because of its interaction with Wasteland and the historic prevalence of the metagame dividing 1 toughness creatures like Mother of Rune, Thalia, Young Pyromancer. Prior to the addition of Ren and 6 to Teamer Delver decks, the Legacy metagame was originally looking healthy. In order to weaken Teamer Delver decks and bring the metagame into much better balance, Ren and 6 is banned in Legacy. Which, hey, this was printed this year, and I'm probably going to talk about this when I do my end-of-year review. This kind of sucks. I own a Ren and 6, and I'm surprised they didn't try, especially with a format where I haven't seen a ton of outrage about this, although I don't follow Legacy that well, or like that closely. I'm surprised they didn't try to ban something else that wasn't recently printed, unless there is something that was more recently printed that's causing problems, but I don't think there is. Alright, Vintage. Following up with the recent changes to the restricted list and the result of Eternal Weekend North America, we're making one additional change. In the context of fast mana and efficient card draw available in Vintage, Narset Part of Veil is contributing to one-sided games at a higher degree than is healthy. In order to reduce the frequency in which her static ability soft locks the opposing player out of the game, Narset is restricted. So basically, because the thing about Vintage is the best kill spell is the spell you're running. The best counter spell, the best draw spell. So everything is super duper efficient, and so Narset can kind of just ruin your entire deck. So I think that's a fair change. Now, this is actually the November 11th. So that is it for this ban and restriction announcement. I think this is a very, very, very great change. So what do you guys think? I think that this is a good thing. Is there something you're really bummed about? Like, oh, I really wanted blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm sure there are people who wanted, like, things to stay around, but in reality, I don't think that's very realistic for the health of the game. And so, here you go. Here is basically what the screen will look like. So it'll be like, the following cards have been added to the standard ban list. Now, I don't think Field of Dead is supposed to be here, but we'll see. And then you can click OK. And so here, oh, I only had 2 of these actually. So I ended up with 4 mythic rares, 4 rares, and 2 uncommons. So then you just click more. Oh, and 2 more uncommons. Never mind, I did have 4 of each. So now if you notice, if I were to go into this and go to a standard deck, you will notice that if we like, Oko is now banned, Once Upon a Time is now banned, and Summers, I guess not Summer. There we go, and this is also banned. So that's very interesting, and I would say very good. Alrighty guys, that's it for this video. If you guys want to stay up to date with everything Magic the Gathering, hit that like button, subscribe down below, and hit that notification bell. Later today, I'll be posting a video about the Pioneer bans, because those have not been posted. They generally get posted around 4, so you can expect a video by like 4:15ish. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys in the next one. Bye.